All right, so here we have another pedal. This one is exactly the same as the whole wheat drive. I think I have that one on my channel already, but wanted to show this one off. A little bit different casing. This is custom artwork or a custom enclosure for a guy. But this is the AionFX Stratus build. It's got some tweaks, some values that I've kind of decided I like, both with the kind of a tone cap, if you could call it that, and then also over here with the clipping section. So other than that, it's just basically it's a tube screamer. It's wired up with the 808 values. So I've got those in there. And then we'll go through kind of the stock stuff and things like that. So this is bass tone. This is my first time going directly into GarageBand. So I'm using their amazing Tweed. Got the tone dialed back a little bit of reverb on there just to kind of soften the tone a bit. I'm using this time my Telecaster. I think it's the lowest output pickups that I have. Specifically for this application, but here's the bass tone with a Telecaster. It's got Cavalier pickups in it. Tone and volume are at full, and I've got in the neck pickup position. All right, so here's the pedal engaged. We'll go, I don't know where Unity is on this one. We'll just go everything at noon and see what that sounds like. A little bit of compression. The tube screamer side of this, those diodes will compress the most on this pedal. But you can hear that clipped quite a bit off of it. So if I was running them in tube screamer, I'd have to goose the volume a little bit. So there's the tube screamer side of it. Again, bass tone, tube screamer side. We'll go over this stuff first. So these are kind of perceived change in the tone cap. That's the stock 808 setting. This one right here is you're cutting out some of the bass frequencies. So it's more of like a treble boost or a perceived treble boost. So if you're using this strictly as a lead drive, there's the cut, this is the stock settings, and then here's the bass. Bass is just kind of it's a larger cap, so it's gonna sound a little bit better, or a little bit bigger, excuse me. So it's just letting all those bass frequencies come through there. So we'll go back to stock and get to the clipping side of it. LED is you're bypassing the diodes in here, and it's only using red LEDs. I think they have like a forward voltage of like 1.7 to 1.9. But you'll notice, and I'll have to turn it down because it'll get extremely louder because you're not clamping down on that signal. So this is the stock TS808. And here it is going to the LEDs. I'm looking at my meter, and that thing is just all the way slammed, taking up the whole waveform there. But that's LEDs. To me, this is more amp-like saturation. Got quite a good bit of dynamic response to it. And you can barely touch it, but then dig in. And again, if we go back down to the TS settings, you'll hear it just clamp down on it like crazy. So we'd have to goose that volume again. But going from LED up to what I call Legend, I socketed my first one. I have one of these that I've run. I socketed the first build that I've done on this one as what Kevin Vanderkraal of AionFX says to do. and I just kind of started putting in a mixed bag of diodes just to see what would happen. So with the legend setting, I've got, well, let me back up. The TS808 is symmetrical clipping, and so that basically means you have the same diode. They're 1N914s going one each direction, so it's symmetrical. Whatever it's doing to the top of the wave, it's doing to the bottom of the wave. So it's clipping that wave the same. LED, it's 2 red LEDs clipping, so that's technically symmetrical as well. The legend setting is asymmetrical clipping, so what's happening to the top of that wave is different than what's happening to the bottom of that wave. And so to where I think I've got, well, I know I've got a 1N914 and then a 1N4007, and I forgot the math that I did on it as far as the forward voltage, but it's, call it like 1.2, and then on the bottom I've got another 914 and then a 1N60, so it's like 1.2 and then like a 0.9, or like maybe it's like 1.4 and 1.1 or something like that. So you get a little bit extra texture with asymmetrical clipping. In my opinion, I tend to lean more towards asymmetrical clipping because I like what it does. It's doing something different to both sides of that wave. So there's the LED, and then so if you can imagine, the legend setting is going to be in between, as far as volume wise or compression wise, it's going to be in between the TS808 and the LED. So we'll go back down to TS, hear that drop in volume, here's LED, and then now we'll go to legend. So it's not quite as clampy as the TS is, the 808, but it's not quite as, doesn't have near as much headroom as the LED does. So this is the LED, or sorry, this is the legend. So we can get that at unity. Sorry, I got old strings on my Telecaster here. They're probably going out of tune. That's where I kind of like to live, using the stock tone cap, and then using that legend setting for the diodes there. And you could take it down a little bit if you wanted it at always on drive. Just add a little bit of thickness to your tone. Play. I think I've said in my videos before, I like building more than I like playing. So we got legend, and then you can obviously go through the tone cap stuff there. This pedal actually almost touches fuzz. Just letting all those bass frequencies come through. But yep. So that's what that is. So let's go through one more time. Dial that back up to where it was about noon. There's legend. Here's LED. Legend. LED. And then the 808. As far as running pickups low, I'm going to turn my volume down to about 7 and see how this responds. Very little difference, only a subtle difference. So if you're not giving this pedal enough of what it wants, well, still that's at about 6 or 7 on my Telecaster here, and I can still hear a difference in it. Yep, but that's the we call this one the Titanic, obviously, but it's just it's a modded TS808 from AionFX. and it's got asymmetrical clipping in the legend setting, red LEDs, more like amp-like tone, and then the typical 808, which is symmetrical 1A914s there. And then this is the change in the tone cap. So you've got stock 808 settings, cut, so you're basically cutting through the mix almost like a treble boost, and then a perceived bass boost on that one. But I like this pedal. I recommend it to a lot of people. I think this is my 4th or 5th one that I've built. No, actually maybe 5th or 6th. That's typically where I run mine, is legend setting and then the stock 808 cap value.